Set the timer.
Don't even use it. You know, make it 7 minutes.
Timer started.
Oh, it's like that now, right? Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning. Madam Toastmaster. Have you ever been in an interview and the first question they ask you is, tell me about yourself? If you truly tried to unpack who you are, you would be left with a novel of sizable proportion. Most people have a hard time answering this question because it had never previously occurred to them that there has been a series of events that has shaped the you who now sits in the hot seat being asked such an ostentatious question. For the sake of today, keeping it short, I've decided to tackle this question honestly using the deduction of a detective's 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. And do you know what I found? Perception is colored by the experiences and expectations, not only those of ourselves, but also those that came before us. Who am I? I am Michael Samuel Morgan, son of Lincoln and Joyce Morgan, brother to Andy Morgan and Lucetta E. Banks. I am husband to Jadine J. Johnson Morgan and father to Daniel Lewis and, can't remember my son's name, and Joshua Samuel Morgan. Born in the great city of New York in the borough of Brooklyn and raised for most of my youth in Queens, New York, where my parents instilled in me the necessity of being a good man, going to church, and doing well in school. What am I? Yes, I am a proud black man, but most of all, I am human. No different than you, 5 fingers, 5 toes, eyes, nose, mouth, warm red blood, and a brain. Oh yes, a brain, unbelievably misrepresented, misunderstood, and unappreciated by me, no less. But beautiful all the same. Such a lovely brain. I am human. 23 pairs of chromosomes with 1 pair being XY to differentiate between me and my female counterparts. When am I? Well, you know American history. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968. Civil unrest continued throughout the 70s. Hippies, Vietnam War, anti-war rallies, drafts, technological advancements, activisms for equality for blacks, women, homosexuals. The first black TV show appeared in the early 1970s. Good Times, Sanford and Sons, What's Happening, and The Jeffersons. Now these shows may not have been a portrayal of the ideal, but they were a start. I was born during a time where hope, resiliency, prayer, passion, and sacrifice had begun to bring to fruition an era where it was okay for children to dream. A time where people lifted you up on their shoulders to see to it that you succeeded. A time where the occasional spanking was not out of frustration because you were a nuisance, but because more was expected of you. Millennial, Echo Boomer, Generation Y are a few names to describe me. I am the product of change. I was born when the cocoon was cracking. The metamorphosis had taken place. The wings were still wet. That I hope one day they could, before my birth in 1980, had changed to I believe one day I could thereafter. And today my children can say with a surety that I know one day I will. When am I? I'm living in a time where I can sit in a room with all of you and not be concerned that you are judging me by my color of my skin, but by our conversation and my character. I am not concerned with the notion that you are mentally placing limitations on me because you desire to see me progress. Until the day that you prove otherwise, the men and women in this room are considered my brothers and sisters. Where am I? I live in the great USA. I say USA because I have access to all of it. I've lived in New York, New Jersey, California, South Carolina, and Michigan. I've visited Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Illinois, and Florida. There is no greater country as this. Under the leadership of administrations of presidents such as Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Bill Clinton, George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, and even 1 year of Donald Trump, we have persevered as a country divided as resilient, powerful, and relevant. Why am I? The question of purpose. I now believe that I was placed on this earth to make it better by encouraging those that I come in contact with to see their better selves and be their better selves. To teach, mentor, and tutor the seedlings of our future to ensure that past failures do not become future crutches. I'm here to show what open hands look like, what open arms feel like, to be an instrument for the betterment of humanity. How am I? The how is simple. Two old people couldn't stop touching each other, and voila. I was born to a woman who was in her 40s, and now that I'm nearing 40 myself, I'm hard-pressed to consider that age old, nor can I understand why anyone would want to stop getting it on. Now you know a little bit more about me. A teddy bear who acknowledges the past, present, and future, holding out an olive branch for those interested in walking with me. Take the time to answer the 5 W's and the 1 H about yourself. You will find that if you truly make an effort, then like me, there are things to be discovered that can possibly change the overall direction of your life. Thank you.